This just came in CHL. Yeah, this is, oh my God. 1 second. It is no mystery that the Steam Deck is one of the most talked about piece of hardware from last year. Even coming into the new one, you'll find most of us talking about it like it's the best invention since sliced bread, and let's be honest, it most certainly is. Now, for a lot of people, Valve's first ever console sits in an ecosystem that they never bothered interacting with. They'll learn the hard way that such is the cruel world of PC gaming. You blink and something better comes about. But I'm here to tell you not to fear and push that FOMO away, as these are 15 reasons why this handheld is still a must-have. Now, best can mean different things to different people, and in many ways there simply isn't a more suited piece of hardware to introduce newcomers to the world of PC gaming. So let us divide these 15 points into 4 different categories: price, operating system, Valve support and community, and components. I said it, she said it. The deck packs more value than a BOGO deal at McDonald's. How does one become more valuable than 50% off, you might ask? Well, see, PC gaming is populated with a plethora of free games. Actually, let me rephrase that. A plethora of free quality games. And being a PC, it offers a backward compatibility on steroids, doing so with impressive fidelity. So really, when you think of the price alone of a Steam Deck, starting at $400 US, it sure is pretty affordable for what it really is. But it becomes even more obvious when you think of what it really gives: an open platform that knows no limits in the right hands. And as a gift that keeps on giving, there's a good chance that you purchased PC games in the past, effectively regaining access to all those titles. And just for the record, there are a bunch of storefronts regularly giving out free games on PC. Epic Games comes to mind. Even if you still haven't bought Valve's handheld, claim those freebies. That's just more awesome free games waiting for when you'll make your move. Of course, as it is a PC, with the right tools, it can even transform into a makeshift laptop. So that's number 1, value proposition. Comes number 2, the regulars of the channel know that I spend a healthy amount talking about these devices, and many of them come from overseas. That in itself represents extra costs that you won't find here, which means no hidden fees, no custom government fees, no RMA pay to send back your device fees. Once you have it in your hands, at least for the following year, there really is nothing else to fear. The only way you'll spend more is if you wish to buy games or accessories. Talking about accessories, here's our 3rd point. The Steam Deck comes with an amazing case and a wall brick. Guys, this is serious matter. We know power bricks are rare commodities these days, but not to worry, because Valve's got your back. Time to strap in, as we'll talk about operating systems next. 4th, not everyone wants to install Windows. Thankfully, as you have a very curated experience provided by Valve, and though you keep hearing me say it's a PC, as it is, you can choose never to experience that aspect of this device. I'd strongly recommend not ruling it out, but this is an option you have. Steam is in fact the largest PC digital storefront there is. In doing so, they offer everything you could possibly ever need from a diversity perspective. As we all fall in love with our decks, it can still mean different strokes for different folks. Number 5 is something we quickly brush on, as to expand on the subject, yes, it is a PC. Should you invest time into fully nurturing it into one, you can greatly leverage this console's hardware. It will require time, patience, and care, but what you put in, you'll undoubtedly get in return, and then some. Thankfully, there are many YouTubers that are established or up and coming, bringing you amazing content to binge on to learn the best tips and tricks with your device. Talking about amazing, now would be a great time to consider dropping a like, comment, and subscribe. Because you know, I'm, yeah, whatever. Number 6, updates. Guys, times have changed. It used to be that you would buy a toaster and it would toast your bread. Nowadays, that same home appliance gets an update and suddenly your bread always comes out perfect. It's more evenly toasted, all that while taking less time than before. Okay, Maybe not the best analogy, but that's many modern time consumer devices nowadays. Anyone with the Steam Deck since launch will tell you that it greatly improved since. It introduced better fan curves, producing less noise, introduced 40 Hz for better battery life, better compatibility with games, better this, better that. In other words, you buy into a living, breathing product. For as long as Valve optimizes this thing, it'll keep improving, and so far, they released updates faster than Rabbids Procreate. Now that's saying something. All right, next category. 7 is all about customer experience you get with Valve. You know what to expect, and their policies are ultimately more user-friendly. For example, when you buy a game, as long as you play it for less than 2 hours and don't go past 14 days, if not satisfied, they'll refund you. In fact, their policy states that if you go overboard on these criteria, they might still be able to help you and recommend that you reach out. In comparison, Nintendo does not refund online software purchases. Sony also does not the moment you start downloading your digital software. The only other giant to have a similar policy in the console space is Microsoft, which seems on par with Valve. Good job, Microsoft. And for the device itself, it comes with a standard limited 12 months warranty, which, going by what I've read on Reddit and the likes, RMA experiences are positive through and through. As much as I enjoy and recommend devices such as the Aya Neo 2 and GPD products, you have to have a bit of a knack for risk, so to speak. Valve's hardware comes bundled with peace of mind, and that's worth something for most, if not every customer. As far as I can remember, they have always been in... This just came... It's DHL! Pretty sure what it is. This was supposed to arrive on the 16th. Sorry, I'm completely off script right now. Is it what I think it is? I believe it is. Nicely wrapped. Okay, so this is happening in another review. Back to Steam Deck. Point 8 is yet another type of comfort that comes with this device. Accessories, and as far as I can remember, they have always been intrinsic to portables. I remember buying kits for the Game Boy Advance that would include grips, battery covers, car chargers, etc. Of course, accessories evolve just as devices do, but one thing that hasn't changed is the more popular the device, the more options you'll find. Something like the modular deck mate to attach batteries, kickstand, attachment skins, thumbstick sleeves, and the list goes on and on. For companies to want to risk building accessories, they need the insurance that there will be people to buy them. That's a massive advantage for the handheld over any other mini PC. 9th position makes sense if you think of software as digital accessories, and no one does it better than community support. To expand on the community narrative, finding people showing you how to do certain things is great, but that also takes developers creating tools that elevate user experience. And just like Aftermarket Accessories, the odds on the software side of things are greatly increased when the product has mass market appeal. If you haven't looked into plugins for your Steam Deck, you are in for a treat, as there is no limit to how far these can really take you. From customization to utility, the possibilities are near endless. As we bring our third category to a close with number 10, it encompasses something that we've all been hearing more and more about and is extremely important. Self-servicing our devices. And because Valve keeps an open approach paired with a community that is filled to the brim with excellent talent, it gives everyone, including beginners, more and easier information on how to service your own device, or find someone to do it for you, or rely on Valve through their warranty. And that's so important down the road. And 3-5 years from now, if the sticks of your handheld starts having issues, you'll have options to easily fix the problem. That gives your gaming companion an opportunity for a second win, even when the device starts showing its age. And now, on to our final category, the last being about specific components from the device itself. This is one that, on a personal level at least, is almost irritating. Our 11th key point on our list is one where the Steam Deck is untouchable. I personally find it's not even talked about enough, with some exceptions of course. It's also true that not everyone will be able to experience the actual difference it makes, but if you are the kind of person that pays attention to audio, you'll know. The speakers on this device are unmatched by any other competitor in this space, and the gap remains obvious enough that there is a clear advantage with Valve's hardware. The speakers are tweaked to such a degree that you'll hear more subtlety, more depth, and a more fine-tuned experience overall. I said it before and I'll say it again, this is the most overlooked feature of this console. Unfortunately, not everyone is calibrated hearing to spot the differences, but if you can, let me know in the comment box below because I'd love to know your impressions. And finally, a point where Valve is arguably not the leading champion, they still had us all fooled. Grab your pitchforks and curse me off for saying this, but let's be real for a minute. On first glance, Steam's portable does not seem comfortable. Yet so many of us ended up apologizing in our minds for thinking as such. This device is so well tweaked in terms of ergonomics that it is refreshingly surprising. Glad to know, like many others, that I was so wrong on my expectations comfort-wise. So this one could see many disagree, but when it all comes down to it, the Steam Deck remains modest where it needs to be. And it most certainly can be considered an advantage, especially when driving the cost and MSRP down. For example, is the panel. Sure, 1200p would look better, but this console couldn't drive it most of the time. Wi-Fi 6 would be great, but really the only advantage over Wi-Fi 5 is the size of bandwidth that the signal allows. It is of no use if you think that at most you are driving a 1280 by 800 panel at 60 Hz. My point, which is one I have to convince my own self of, to be honest, is that while I always want the best, the truth is that the best on the deck would not make sense and would drive the cost much higher for no reasons. So all in all, modesty suits this handheld, and it's really the best decision for it.
Yeah, boy.
If you've watched my comprehensive guide on MiniPCs, this will resonate. Valve's poster child does have a lot going for it, but not everything that it offers is unique to this device. The paddles, for example, other devices have at least 2 customizable buttons. Most, if not every other device in that space, also have a gyroscope. But see, the problem with those extra hardware features is software integration. And I don't want this to sound as though I'm blaming others here, but let's be honest. Valve can afford to have a full team of engineers have a full-time job all year round, thinking about how they can best take advantage of every single unique aspect to the deck as a portable console. And Valve pushed it to the absolute limit. Take for example something that a lot of people don't know, but for that, a very short story time. It's 2001, I'm playing on my Xbox 360, the brand new entry in the Dead or Alive franchise. I'm in practice mode playing my brand new favorite character, Christy, the platinum-haired assassin, and while practicing my moves, I learned about a feature I never knew the 360 had and that I had never seen before. The ABXY buttons were pressure sensitive, meaning that if you press them lightly, you execute a different command than if you press the button normally. This was the only time I had ever seen hardware support that feature until the Steam Deck. While it is not exactly the same, the trackpads can effectively be configured to offer pressure sensitive actions, as you can see on this video by YouTube user Mosquito. I'll put the link to his video in the description box as well as on the top right. Feel free to drop him a follow, he's got a lot of cool Steam Deck videos. And last, which once more ties in perfectly with our previous point and what drove me towards the Steam Deck in the first place, are all the unique inputs that it offers. 2 trackpads, the conductive sticks, the 4 paddles, and that speaks perfectly to the artistic form that is gaming. See, if we all watch a movie, we all see the same scenes in the same order. But when playing the same game, there is far more flexibility as a form of expression on how we'll each experience it. And for Steam to offer more options than any other console and or game controller is just crazy to me. The only exception to this would be VR, where it breaks 2D dimension, but as far as playing games the way they've almost always been played, the Steam Deck offers such a refreshing way of customizing how you interact with your characters, the world that you are transported in. So there you have it. 15 reasons why I believe the Steam Deck to still be a fantastic option, even despite the devices competing with it that are coming out with superior CPU and graphics. Now don't get me wrong, I love the thought of a device that can do more. But while some devices do best the deck on certain aspects, only the deck does it all. So I hope this video was pleasant for you, maybe to reiterate the love that you have for your handheld, or maybe you were on the fence and wanted to hear some fresh opinions. In which case, if you haven't seen that video and enjoyed this one, I'd love for you to take a peek at the MiniPC comprehensive guide I've made. It's been, as far as I know, a very well received video and could very well open your eyes even more to the beautiful space that is MiniPCs. Cheers.